Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Warren Y Canonigo, and you're watching the FYI sessions where Filipino learners can savor bite-sized English lessons. With me, Teacher Warren, and my friends, the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, and Prentice Hall Grammar and Composition 3 by Gary Ferlini and co-authors, one of my favorite references. Today we'll talk about names. And what kinds of names? It would be American first names. Since we were colonized by the Americans, we have a certain level of fondness for using or assigning American names to our children, offsprings, or sometimes if we believe our names are too Spanish or too Filipino, we use American names as monikers or aliases, or pen names for that matter. So when I was still working in the call center industry, I was trained how to pronounce the classic way, the classic pronunciation of some of the most popular American names. But let me tell you that at the end of the day, the one who will dictate, the one who will decide how to pronounce one's name is the owner of the name. That's it. So my goal for this episode is just to let you know how these names are pronounced in the country of their origin. So it means I'm just gonna share to you the classic or maybe the standard pronunciation as how it is done in America, in an American setting. Okay, let's start. This one is, these names are pronounced the same way. Stephen, 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 Stephen. So the PH is assigned the sound of V, V. So you don't say Stephen, it's Stephen. So they're pronounced the same way. Although in the Philippines, if you're assigned this name, usually your parents would tell you that the pronunciation is Stephen. But then this is FYI session, so for you to know. Next, Dylan, Dylan. Eden, Eden, Eden. Usually we say Edit, right? But it's Eden. Louis, Louise, Louis, Louise. Although some Americans would also pronounce this Louise, like the name of the place, geographical name, St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis City in Missouri. Okay. Amy, Amy. Peter, Peter, Peter. Next, we have Paul, Paul, Paul. Okay, so in connection to this one, let me introduce to you to a phoneme, which you haven't met yet, at least in my FYI sessions. It's the sound of ah, ah. If you would notice, it's a lowercase letter O with a period or with a dot. And the pronunciation is ah, as in saw, law, draw. Again, saw, law, draw. And this phoneme, is the one which is assigned to the letters A and U's. Hence the pronunciation Paul, Paul, Paul. Next, Pamela, Pamela, Pamela. Many Filipinos would say Pamela or Pamela. But my favorite is Pamela, Pamela. Next is Thomas, Thomas, silent H, Thomas, Thomas. Next is Susan, Susan, Suzanne, Susan, Suzanne. Leo, Leo, Leo. In the Philippines, sometimes you hear them say Leo. Okay, the American way, Leo, Leo. Next, Sharon, 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 Sharon. Next, Phoebe, 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 Phoenix, Phoenix. Next, Joan, Joan, Joan. Sometimes we say in the Philippines, sometimes say Joanne. The American pronunciation is Joan. Beatrice, 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 not Beatrice. It's Beatrice. Next, Isaac, Isaac, Isaac. One letter A is silent, Isaac. Then the S is sounded as Z, Isaac, Isaac. Next, Jesus, Jesus. Again, Z, Jesus. Next, Word. This is my first name, Word, Word. Usually, I hear people pronounce it Warren, Warren, which is sounded like a Filipino word. But in the American pronunciation, the letter A after the W is pronounced as this one. Thus, lowercase letter O with a period or dot on top. Wern, wern, wern. Next is this one is Abraham, Abraham, Abraham. Then this one is Graham or Graham, Graham or Graham. Some in the Philippines, we have a very popular like brown cracker that we usually eat as a biscuit or a major ingredient for a dessert like mango float. And then when we go to the store, we say, or we'll look for it, we'll say Graham crackers. I'm not saying it's wrong, but if that's how it takes to be understood by the sales girl, then be it. You use the pronunciation. Again, it doesn't matter, because even if you're very, very good at pronouncing the words, if no one understands you in that locality, in that environment, then it's useless. There's no communication. Remember that the goal of communication is to understand and to be understood. And so even if you're very, very good in pronunciation and no one understands you, then interference is at play. So even if the pronunciation is wrong, if you think you will be understood, then use it. But at least it's good to know that this is a biographical name. And it's supposed to be pronounced as Graham. Graham, silent H, silent A. Graham or Graham. Graham, but not Graham. Okay. Next, Therese. Therese. Silent H and silent. Final letter E is also silent. The S is Z. Therese. Therese. This one, Olive. 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 Silent E. The last letter is silent. Olive. Olive. Next is Charlotte. Not Charlotte, but Char, then down, lit. Charlotte. Charlotte. Next. Craig. 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 Silent A. Next is Celeste. 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 Silent letter E. This one is Simon. Simone. Simon. Simone. Usually assigned to a male person, Simon. Female, Simone. For the female, you need to add letter E, but it remains silent, and then you change the pronunciation. Simon and then Simone. Nicholas. Nicholas. You don't say Nicholas. It's Nicholas. Nicholas. Next is Ramon. Ramon. Silent E. Then Ava. Ava. Some would say Eva, but the most popular pronunciation and my favorite pronunciation is Ava. I think it's sexier that way. And then Peyton. 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 Peyton or Peyton. Okay. So I hope you had fun practicing how to do the American way of pronouncing those names. So see you in the next episode. Bye.